50 facts about New Mexico. Did you know that New Mexico once recorded snow in July at high elevations, but also hit 122 degrees Fahrenheit, hotter than any temperature recorded in Hawaii? Or that this desert state somehow has more caves than any state in America? About the fact that under its mesas, it hides ancient pueblos older than the Egyptian pyramids? Well, New Mexico is jam-packed with crazy facts like this, and we have 50 of them for you. So, let's get right into it. Fact 50. Triple cultural convergence. At the heart of New Mexico's high desert, three distinct cultures collide in a way almost no place on Earth can match. Drive one direction, and you'll find ancient Pueblo communities that have inhabited the same villages for over 1,000 years. Head another way, and you'll discover Spanish colonial towns founded in the 1500s, older than Jamestown. And just over the next mesa, you'll encounter Wild West ranching culture straight out of a cowboy movie. There are only a handful of places on the entire planet where native, Spanish, and Anglo cultures blend so seamlessly. And New Mexico's is the most authentic, basically the cultural crossroads of the American Southwest. Fact 49. Singing sand dunes. Near Alamogordo, there's a dune field that literally hums like a choir. Walk across the white gypsum sand, and it squeaks with clear musical tones. The sound changes with temperature and moisture, creating nature's own instrument. But here's the weird part. White Sands is the only major gypsum dune field on Earth. The sound only works because these aren't normal quartz sand grains. Scientists blame crystal structure and how the particles slide against one another, but nobody fully agrees. It's one of Earth's strangest natural soundscapes, a desert that refuses to stay silent. Fact 48. World's largest hot air balloon festival. New Mexico doesn't just do big skies. Every October, Albuquerque hosts the largest hot air balloon gathering on the planet, with over 500 balloons filling the sky at once. Not dozens, hundreds. Imagine trying to count them all while floating shapes of every design crash through the dawn light. It sounds so insane that first-time visitors still can't believe it's real. The Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta draws nearly 1 million spectators, and pilots love the unique wind patterns created by the Rio Grande Valley. Whether you're a balloon enthusiast or just love spectacle, New Mexico's October skies become the most colorful place on Earth. And that's the bigger point. In most places, a hot air balloon is a novelty. In New Mexico, they fill the entire horizon.
Fact 47. Extreme elevation diversity. Think your local landscape is varied? New Mexico laughs at that. The state spans from 2,842 feet at Red Bluff Reservoir to 13,161 feet at Wheeler Peak. That's over 10,000 feet of vertical relief, creating climate zones from Chihuahuan Desert to Alpine Tundra. The result is New Mexico hosts 7 distinct life zones, more ecological diversity than nearly any state. Warm deserts give way to pinyon forests, which transition to ponderosa parklands, climbing through spruce fir wilderness to treeless alpine peaks. One minute you're in cactus country, the next you're above the clouds wearing a jacket. This puts New Mexico among North America's most ecologically diverse regions. Fact 46. Nuclear testing ground zero. New Mexico has an unusual distinction in world history. Meet Trinity Site in the Jornada del Muerto Desert, the place where humanity detonated the world's first atomic bomb on July 16, 1945. The mushroom cloud from that test rose 7.5 miles into the sky, and the blast was heard 100 miles away. The explosion vaporized the tower and turned desert sand into radioactive green glass called trinitite. So, while tourists admire New Mexico's ancient cultures and natural beauty, they're also standing near ground zero for the atomic age. This remote corner of the desert secretly witnessed humanity's most powerful and terrifying scientific breakthrough. Fact 45. Land of Enchantment's temperature extremes. New Mexico doesn't just do hot summers. It also recorded some serious cold for a desert state. On February 1, 1951, Gavilan hit negative 50 degrees Fahrenheit, cold enough to rival Montana's worst. That's Arctic-level cold in a state famous for sunshine. At that temperature, exposed skin freezes in minutes. Car batteries die instantly, and breathing hurts your lungs. Meanwhile, the state also hit 122 degrees at Waste Isolation Pilot Plant in 1994. So while most states stay in a comfortable range, New Mexico swings from Arctic to Death Valley. Fact 44. Atomic legacy continues. New Mexico's nuclear connection didn't end with Trinity. The state became home to Los Alamos National Laboratory, birthplace of the atomic bomb and still one of America's premier nuclear research facilities. Founded secretly during World War II as Site Y of the Manhattan Project, Los Alamos transformed from a remote boys' school into the brain trust that changed warfare forever. Scientists like Oppenheimer, Fermi, and Feynman walked these mesa-top streets, developing weapons that would end the war. It's a reminder that New Mexico isn't just ancient pueblos and desert vistas. It's also where the future got built, for better or worse.
Fact 43. Carlsbad Cavern's vast underground chambers. New Mexico hides one of the most spectacular cave systems on Earth. Carlsbad Caverns. The big room alone is so massive you could fit 6 football fields inside with room to spare. At peak season, hundreds of thousands of bats pour out at sunset in a living tornado that takes your breath away. The cave goes so deep that early explorers needed hours just to reach the bottom. And if you're brave enough to take the natural entrance trail descending into darkness, you'll get one of the rawest underground experiences left in America. A cathedral carved by water that no one ever managed to fully explore. Fact 42. Ancient water in the desert. Every day, Blue Hole in Santa Rosa pumps out 3,000 gallons per minute of crystal clear, 64-degree water, enough to refresh an entire desert town. And here's the insane part. Scientists trace that water to snowmelt from mountains hundreds of miles away, filtered through limestone for decades or even centuries. What you're swimming in isn't just a spring, it's ancient groundwater, finally reaching the surface after an underground journey that started when your grandparents were young. Scuba divers love it because visibility extends over 100 feet down into the mysterious depths. And despite the desert heat, it stays perpetually cool year-round. Fact 41. Dust Devil Capital of America. Think tornadoes are the only rotating columns of death. New Mexico would like a word. The state's flat valleys and intense heating create more dust devils than almost anywhere on Earth. These aren't gentle whirlwinds. Some reach 100 feet tall and pack winds strong enough to knock you down. They'll rip through trailer parks, flip cars, and sandblast paint off buildings. When conditions align perfectly on summer afternoons, you can see a dozen spinning at once across the Rio Grande Valley. New Mexico doesn't just get dusty, it turns into nature's own spinning demonstration. Fact 40. More caves than anywhere. Here's something that'll make your geology teacher excited. New Mexico contains over 1,200 documented caves, more than any other state. Lechuguilla Cave in Carlsbad Caverns National Park alone stretches over 140 miles of surveyed passages, making it one of the longest caves on Earth. How does a desert state pull off this subterranean magic trick? It's all about that ancient limestone bedrock, slowly dissolved by acidic water over millions of years, with countless chambers, passages, and caverns twisting through the depths. You could literally spend a lifetime exploring New Mexico's underworld and never see the same cave twice. Fact 39. Rio Grande, ancient and wild. New Mexico claims a significant stretch of one of North America's great rivers, the Rio Grande. For centuries, it's been the state's lifeline, carving a ribbon of green through otherwise harsh desert. Flowing from Colorado through New Mexico to Texas and the Gulf of Mexico, the river created civilizations along its banks for over 1,000 years. In a region where water means everything, this river still flows exactly as ancient Puebloans saw it: powerful, essential, and sacred. Fact 38. Elephant Butte's Desert Surprise. New Mexico's Elephant Butte Reservoir is a water miracle hiding in plain sight. At 36,500 acres when full, it's the largest body of water in New Mexico. Created by damming the Rio Grande in 1916, the reservoir provides irrigation to thousands of acres of farmland in one of America's driest states. The water here can drop dramatically during drought years, revealing ghost towns and historic structures that were flooded during construction. 200 miles of shoreline when full, this desert oasis proves that New Mexico isn't just dry land. It's also a state that tamed its rivers. Fact 37. World's largest roadrunner. New Mexico doesn't just do big landscapes.
It also does hilariously oversized roadside attractions. Meet the Roadrunner statue in Fort Sumner, a 40-foot-tall fiberglass bird that dominates the skyline. That's taller than a 3-story building, making it impossible to miss from the highway. The Roadrunner is New Mexico's state bird, and locals take that honor seriously. While other states settle for modest monuments, New Mexico built a Roadrunner so absurdly large it can be spotted from low-flying aircraft. Because when you're the Land of Enchantment, even your birds need to be legendary. Fact 36. Four Corners Monument. New Mexico shares one of America's most unique geographic landmarks. Four Corners Monument is the only place in the United States where 4 states meet at a single point. Stand on the marker and you can be in New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, and Colorado simultaneously. That's a geographic quirk that draws tourists from around the world. The monument sits on Navajo Nation land in a remote high desert plateau, making the journey part of the experience. It basically makes New Mexico part of the only 4-state intersection in America. Be in 4 places at once, or just enjoy the novelty that surveyors decided this spot was mathematically perfect.
Fact 35. Volcanic fields still active. Drive through northern New Mexico and you'll see strange black rock flows covering the landscape like frozen rivers. Those aren't random. They're evidence of one of the youngest volcanic fields in North America. The Potrillo volcanic field last erupted just 5,000 years ago, which in geological terms is basically yesterday. Some cones and flows look so fresh they could have formed during ancient Puebloan times. We're talking about lava fields so recent that native peoples may have witnessed the eruptions and passed down stories through generations. These volcanic remnants scattered across southern New Mexico prove that when the earth gets restless here, it reshapes the land in dramatic fashion. Fact 34. The glowing sands of White Sands. In southern New Mexico sits one of the most otherworldly landscapes in America. White Sands National Park, which attracts hundreds of thousands of visitors yearly, is basically a 275-square-mile field of pure white gypsum sand you definitely want to experience. This massive dune field holds the world's largest gypsum deposit, creating dunes that look like snowdrifts but feel like baby powder. The sand is so white it reflects sunlight intensely, keeping it cool enough to walk barefoot even on scorching days. The surreal beauty becomes even more magical at sunset, when the dunes glow pink and orange. Park rangers lead full moon hikes when conditions are right, turning the landscape into an alien dreamscape. Fact 33. The town that radiation built. On March 9, 1945, the Manhattan Project needed housing for scientists, so the US government created Los Alamos practically overnight. Within months, a secret city appeared on a remote mesa, filled with some of the brightest minds in physics. Thousands of people lived and worked there without appearing on any map, developing the atomic bomb in complete secrecy. By war's end, Los Alamos was a functioning town that officially didn't exist. But this was no normal community. It changed world history, forever linking Los Alamos to the nuclear age. To this day, you can still visit the Bradbury Science Museum and see artifacts from when science fiction became reality on a New Mexico mesa. Fact 32. The state that rivals Japan in size. New Mexico isn't just big, it's absurdly big. At 121,590 square miles, the Land of Enchantment is so huge it dwarfs entire nations. If it broke off and became its own country, New Mexico would be larger than Italy, the Philippines, or Poland. It's even larger than the United Kingdom by 27,000 square miles. But here's the kicker. Only 2.1 million people live here. That's fewer than the city of Houston, spread out across an area the size of a European nation. The result? Endless desert, ancient mesas, and so much open space you could drive for hours without seeing a town. Fact 31. Room to roam, hardly any people. New Mexico is one of America's emptiest states, with a population density of just 17 people per square mile. To put that in perspective, the national average is over 90 people per square mile, making New Mexico more than 5 times less crowded.
In many of New Mexico's 33 counties, you'll find vast stretches where you can drive 50 miles without passing through a town, officially earning them frontier status according to the Census Bureau. It's not unusual to travel through eastern New Mexico and see more pronghorn antelope than people, more tumbleweeds than cars, and more sky than anything else. Fact 30. Ancient footprints rewrite history. At White Sands National Park, scientists made a discovery that shook archaeology. Human footprints dated to 23,000 years ago, pushing back the timeline of human arrival in North America by thousands of years. When researchers found these tracks preserved in ancient lake sediments, they revealed people walking alongside now extinct giant sloths and mammoths. The prints show adults, teenagers, and children crossing the landscape during the Ice Age, all created when glaciers still covered much of the continent. New Mexico literally holds evidence that rewrites the story of when humans first reached the Americas. Fact 29. A labyrinth beneath the desert. Hidden beneath New Mexico's Guadalupe Mountains lies Lechuguilla Cave, one of the most spectacular cave systems on Earth. Stretching for more than 140 miles, it's filled with twisting passages and chambers decorated with rare formations that seem to defy physics. Giant gypsum chandeliers hang from ceilings, and delicate aragonite crystals sprout like flowers from the walls, giving the cave an almost alien quality. It's a place where you can see up close the slow artistry of chemistry and time working underground for millions of years. Fact 28. The river with sacred significance. The Rio Grande isn't just New Mexico's main waterway. For Pueblo peoples, it's sacred, life-giving, and central to existence in an arid land. This 1,900-mile river flows through the heart of the state, creating a green corridor through otherwise harsh desert. Ancient communities built along its banks for over a millennium, and today those connections remain strong. You can only understand New Mexico's history by understanding this river. It's not just water flowing through rock. It's the liquid thread connecting centuries of human civilization in a place where every drop matters. The exact pueblos that line its banks today look wildly similar to structures built before Columbus arrived, demonstrating an unbroken cultural connection to this precious resource. Facts 27. Birthplace of nuclear physics history. In 1945, the Jornada del Muerto in New Mexico made history when the Manhattan Project detonated the world's first atomic device at Trinity Site. That single test turned New Mexico's desert into the birthplace of the atomic age. The explosion was visible 200 miles away, and the mushroom cloud punched through the stratosphere. Since then, the site has produced countless documentaries, books, and films about the moment everything changed. Today, New Mexico isn't just part of nuclear history. It's the place where humanity split the atom and changed warfare forever. Fact 26. Perfectly preserved Pueblo ruins. Jumping to cultural history, New Mexico contains some of North America's most significant archaeological sites. Chaco Canyon, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, preserves massive stone structures built over 1,000 years ago. These aren't simple dwellings. They're sophisticated multi-story buildings with hundreds of rooms, demonstrating advanced astronomical and architectural knowledge. Pueblo Bonito alone had over 600 rooms and rose 4 stories high, making it one of the largest pre-Columbian structures north of Mexico. You can actually see original roof timbers, intricate masonry, and ceremonial kivas, like examining a culture that thrived centuries before European contact. Archaeologists consider Chaco one of the most important archaeological sites in North America, earning it protection and intensive study. Fact 25. Ancient astronomy encoded in stone. The archaeological wonders don't end with Chaco's architecture. New Mexico's ancient Puebloans were also sophisticated astronomers. At Fajada Butte in Chaco Canyon, they created a solar calendar using rock art and precisely positioned stone slabs. The sun dagger marks solstices and equinoxes with beams of light that slice across spiral petroglyphs at exact moments. Along with this incredible observatory are alignments throughout Chaco that track lunar cycles, demonstrating knowledge that rivals ancient civilizations worldwide, which are proudly studied by archaeoastronomers today because sometimes ancient science deserves modern recognition. Fact 24. The world's most famous alien story. New Mexico is home to America's most enduring UFO legend, the Roswell incident. In July 1947, something crashed on a ranch near Roswell, sparking decades of speculation about extraterrestrial visitors. The Army initially announced recovering a flying disc, then quickly changed the story to a weather balloon. What really happened remains hotly debated. Out here, UFO tourism has become a major industry. The city embraces its alien connection with museums, festivals, and even alien-themed McDonald's. You could spend days exploring Roswell's UFO culture, surrounded by green alien faces and flying saucer imagery everywhere you look. It's one of the quirky places on Earth where conspiracy theory became economic engine. Fact 23. Ancient cliff dwellings still standing. Scattered throughout New Mexico are cliff dwellings that defy time itself. Bandelier National Monument preserves hundreds of ancestral Pueblo homes carved directly into volcanic tough cliffs. Back in the 11th to 15th centuries, families lived in these cave-like rooms accessed by wooden ladders. Today, visitors can climb into these ancient dwellings, and they're so well preserved you can still see soot marks on ceilings from cooking fires lit 700 years ago. That means visitors right now can literally stand where pre-Columbian families cooked meals and raised children. It's not just an archaeological site, it's a 700-year-old neighborhood frozen in stone. Fact 22. High desert grasslands and sky islands. New Mexico isn't just cactus and sand, it's hiding unexpected ecosystems. In the southwestern corner, isolated mountain ranges rise from the desert like islands in an ocean, creating sky islands with unique climates. These peaks capture enough moisture to support Douglas fir forests, while the valleys below stay desert dry, creating vertical ecosystems found nowhere else. At the Gila Wilderness, you'll find the nation's first designated wilderness area, protected since 1924. Dense forests, clear streams, and wildlife-filled meadows give the place an unexpected lushness. Walk here and it feels less like New Mexico and more like stepping into a secret mountain paradise. Fact 21. Ancient petroglyphs by the thousands. West of Albuquerque lies one of the largest petroglyph sites in North America. Petroglyph National Monument protects over 24,000 images carved into volcanic rocks by ancient Puebloans and early Spanish settlers. Etched into dark basalt are spirals, animals, human figures, and mysterious symbols whose meanings remain debated. Early carvers created these images over centuries, from 400 to 700 years ago. The images survived because the desert climate preserved them perfectly. Scientists say no single explanation covers all the symbols. But here's the powerful message. These aren't just old drawings, they're voices from the past, speaking across centuries through stone. Fact 20. One of America's oldest capital cities. New Mexico isn't just home to ancient ruins, it's also home to the oldest state capital in America. Santa Fe was founded by Spanish colonists in 1610. A full decade before the Mayflower landed at Plymouth Rock. From this adobe-lined plaza, Spanish governors ruled for over 200 years before Mexico took control and eventually the United States claimed it. Together, Santa Fe's continuous government stretches over 400 years. That's almost twice as long as the United States has existed. The Palace of the Governors, built around 1610, still stands on the plaza, making it the oldest continuously occupied public building in the nation. Walking Santa Fe streets means stepping into living history, where the past isn't preserved in museums, it's embedded in daily life. Fact 19. America's most dramatic sky tram, the Sandia Peak Tramway outside Albuquerque, is one of the longest aerial trams in the Western Hemisphere. The 2.7-mile ride tops out at 10,678 feet above sea level, climbing over sheer cliffs and deep canyons. Along the way, you rise from desert scrub through 5 distinct life zones, ending in cool pine forests. Locals call it the most stunning 15 minutes in New Mexico, and for good reason. One minute you're looking at cactus, the next you're staring down at eagles flying below you. The tram offers unobstructed views where you can see 11,000 square miles of landscape stretching to distant horizons. It's basically a vertical journey through multiple ecosystems. No hiking required. Except here, you don't climb the mountain. You float straight up its face. Fact 18. The Bisti Badlands Alien Landscape. Hidden in northwestern New Mexico lies a landscape so strange it's been called Earth's most alien terrain. The Bisti/Denazin wilderness contains bizarre hoodoos, balanced rocks, and petrified woods scattered across a lunar-like desert. Imagine stone mushrooms sprouting from cracked earth, some balancing impossibly on narrow stems. It's nature's own sculpture garden, carved by wind and water. The kicker? You can't just drive to the best formations. It takes hours of hiking through trackless badlands to reach the most dramatic features, which is why only determined adventurers see them. The formations are so bizarre that NASA has used the area for Mars rover testing. Fact 17. Turquoise treasures fit for royalty. In the hills around Cerrillos, New Mexico, the ground hides gemstones that rival anything from Persia or Tibet. New Mexico turquoise, particularly from the Cerrillos mines, has been prized for over 1,000 years. Ancient Puebloans mined here long before Europeans arrived. The distinctive blue-green stones became trade goods throughout pre-Columbian America, reaching civilizations hundreds of miles away. Today, genuine New Mexico turquoise remains highly valued by collectors and jewelers worldwide, prized for its intense color and cultural significance. Think about that. Some of the Southwest's most iconic jewelry didn't come from exotic Asian mines. It came from hills in New Mexico that indigenous peoples considered sacred. Fact 16. Mexican Wolf Recovery Zone. Step into the Gila Wilderness and you're entering the domain of some seriously impressive predators. With a small but growing population, New Mexico hosts recovering Mexican wolves, the rarest subspecies of gray wolf in North America. But that's only part of the story. New Mexico is working to restore apex predators that were nearly wiped out. Mountain lions, black bears, and these rare wolves are making comebacks in remote wilderness. It's an ecosystem slowly rebalancing itself, while most of the Southwest has lost its top carnivores. And that makes New Mexico one of the few states where you can still see how southwestern ecosystems were meant to function. Raw, balanced, and ruled from the top down.
Fact 15. Wildlife outnumbers people in many counties. In New Mexico's wide open spaces, people are basically the minority. The state's wildlife population includes impressive numbers. About 70,000 elk, thousands of pronghorn antelope, mule deer herds, desert bighorn sheep, and even small bison herds. That's hundreds of thousands of animals roaming free across landscapes where human population remains sparse. Add in countless smaller species and the scoreboard tilts firmly in Mother Nature's favor. Out here, it's not unusual to drive through remote valleys and see entire herds of elk or pronghorn moving across mesas. In much of New Mexico, the wildlife isn't just scenery, it's the dominant life form. Fact 14. Biodiversity hotspot in the desert. New Mexico isn't just big in size, it's big in biodiversity. The state is home to over 150 mammal species and 544 bird species, more than almost anywhere else at this latitude. That means New Mexico is one of the last places where desert and mountain species overlap. Roadrunners sprint through the lowlands while elk bugle in high mountain meadows. Javelinas root through desert scrub while mountain lions stalk ridgelines. Add in Mexican free-tailed bats by the millions and golden eagles soaring overhead, and you've got a wildlife lineup that spans multiple ecosystems. From tiny harvest mice to 800-pound elk, New Mexico is one of the rare places where the wild still spans incredible diversity. Fact 13. 505 Pride runs deep. Or at least it used to be simple. For years, all of New Mexico operated under Area Code 505. While states like Texas juggled dozens of codes, New Mexico stuck with just one for decades. The 505 became a badge of honor, plastered on t-shirts, songs, and tattoos. It became New Mexico's unofficial calling card, instantly identifying anyone as a true New Mexican. However, growth forced the addition of 575 in 2007, splitting the state. While many New Mexicans mourn the loss of 505 unity, the original code still represents Albuquerque and northern New Mexico. Fact 12. The town where outlaws met their end. Back in the 1880s, Lincoln County, New Mexico was the Wild West incarnate. With fewer than 3,000 residents, it somehow spawned America's most famous outlaw story, Billy the Kid and the Lincoln County War.
That meant range wars, gun battles, and frontier justice in its rawest form. A conflict so wild it sounds like fiction, but the evidence was everywhere. Lincoln's Main Street still has bullet holes in historic buildings, and the courthouse where Billy the Kid made his legendary escape stands as a museum. Unlike most Wild West towns that got civilized and modernized, Lincoln remained frozen in time. For a moment in history, it was easier to die in a gunfight on Lincoln streets than almost anywhere in America. Fact 11. Very Large Array, Telescope Supercluster. New Mexico hosts one of the world's most powerful radio telescope arrays. The VLA near Socorro consists of 27 massive dish antennas, each 82 feet across, arranged in a Y pattern across the desert. This isn't just regional research. It's a facility that has contributed to Nobel Prize-winning discoveries and appears in movies like Contact. Picture dozens of massive dishes all pointing skyward, listening to whispers from distant galaxies billions of light years away. The array puts this remote corner of New Mexico on the international science map and continues pushing the boundaries of radio astronomy and astrophysics. Fact 10. Glowing gypsum sand. At White Sands, reality bends in ways that seem impossible. The pure white gypsum crystals reflect moonlight so intensely that you can read a book during full moon without a flashlight. Walk across these dunes at night, and the sand glows with an ethereal luminescence that makes the entire landscape feel otherworldly. These aren't your ordinary beach sand grains. They're nature's own light reflectors, creating one of the most photogenic and surreal deserts on Earth. The effect is so striking that pictures routinely go viral, with people convinced they must be enhanced. Spoiler alert, they're not. Fact 9. New Mexico's Sky Islands. Scattered across southern New Mexico are isolated mountain ranges that rise from the desert like biological fortresses. The Mogollon, Sacramento, and Sandia mountains create what scientists call Sky Islands, where cool mountain ecosystems survive surrounded by hot desert lowlands. These peaks capture moisture that the desert below never sees, creating unique habitats found nowhere else. Black bears, Mexican spotted owls, and rare plant species survive in these high-altitude refuges. In a region dominated by desert, these mountains remain one of the last places where remnant Ice Age forests still cling to existence. Fact 8. Fantastically beautiful rock formations. In northwestern New Mexico lies a place that looks less like Earth and more like a dream. The Ashi-Slaypa Wilderness contains bizarre rock formations carved by erosion into shapes that defy description. Balanced rocks teeter on impossibly thin pedestals. Hoodoos twist skyward in frozen spirals, and entire hillsides look melted like candle wax. Photographers travel from around the world to capture these alien landscapes. Long before Instagram, ancient peoples recognized these formations as sacred, leaving only footprints and reverence behind. Walking here feels like stepping into a Salvador Dali painting, surrounded by geology that seems almost too strange to be real.
Fact 7. Bat Flight Phenomenon. Every summer evening, Carlsbad Caverns produces one of North America's most spectacular wildlife displays. Up to 400,000 Brazilian free-tailed bats spiral out of the cave entrance in a living tornado that lasts for hours. The colony emerges at dusk to hunt insects across the Chihuahuan Desert, consuming tons of agricultural pests nightly. Visitors gather at the amphitheater built into the hillside, watching in silence as this ancient ritual unfolds. Wildlife biologists say few bat colonies anywhere match Carlsbad's size and accessibility, making this one of the most reliable wildlife spectacles on the continent. Fact 6. Geothermal wonders hiding in plain sight. New Mexico doesn't have Yellowstone's fame, but it has plenty of volcanic fire beneath the surface. Throughout the state, natural hot springs bubble up from deep underground, heated by magma chambers that prove the Earth remains restless here. From Ojo Caliente to Truth or Consequences, geothermal water emerges at temperatures exceeding 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Add in volcanic cones, lava flows, and fumaroles, and you're standing in a landscape where the boundary between Earth's crust and molten interior feels dangerously thin. Fact 5. Underground Nuclear Waste Repository. Deep beneath the Chihuahuan Desert, New Mexico hosts the Waste Isolation Pilot Plant, America's only deep geological repository for radioactive waste.
The facility sits 2,150 feet underground in ancient salt formations that have remained stable for 250 million years.
That
Workers
same
navigate
salt formation
miles of
protects
tunnels
our
carved
future
from
by
solid
providing
salt,
a safe
storing
place
nuclear
to
waste from
permanently
weapons
dispose
production
of the
in
nation's
chambers designed to remain
defense-related
sealed for
transuranic radioactive
10,000
waste,
years.
or
In a state
true
already
waste.
connected
In
to
March of
nuclear history,
1999,
WIP represents
elements
humanity's
that are
attempt
heavier
to
than
safely
uranium.
bury its most
Thus
dangerous
the word
legacy.
transuranic.
Fact 4. The Palindrome Connection. New Mexico has a quirky linguistic claim. While the state name itself isn't a palindrome, it contains geographic features that language lovers appreciate. The symmetry of place names like Zia reflects the state's unique blend of native and Spanish influences. It's a reminder that even in the wildlands of the high desert, the details reveal layers of cultural fusion. From ancient pueblos to Spanish missions, it's the kind of linguistic archaeology that makes you appreciate how deeply history runs here.
Fact 3. Ghost towns and mining history. New Mexico is littered with ghost towns that tell stories of boom and bust. Madrid, once a thriving coal mining town that supplied fuel to the entire Southwest, now stands as an artist colony with galleries occupying old company buildings. Mogollon, high in the mountains, preserves structures from silver mining days when fortune seekers flooded these remote canyons. Cerrillos, where turquoise mines operated for over 1,000 years, still has weathered buildings along a dusty main street. Walk these towns at sunset and you'll sense the layers of history, from ancient miners to Spanish colonists to Wild West prospectors, all drawn by the promise of wealth beneath New Mexico's soil. Fact 2. Wind power transforms the landscape. Across eastern New Mexico, hundreds of wind turbines spin endlessly on the high plains, transforming the state into a renewable energy powerhouse. The constant winds that once drove ranchers crazy now generate clean electricity for millions. These massive turbines, some with blades longer than a Boeing 747 wing, dot the horizon as far as you can see. In a state built on extractive industries, from turquoise to uranium, wind represents New Mexico's energy future. The irony isn't lost on anyone. The same relentless wind that made frontier life harsh now powers the modern world. Fact 1. One of Earth's oldest continuously inhabited regions. The Pueblos of New Mexico represent something almost impossible to find elsewhere in North America: unbroken human habitations stretching back over 1,000 years. At Taos Pueblo, families still live in multi-story adobe structures built around 1000 AD, making it one of the oldest continuously inhabited communities in the United States. At Acoma Pueblo, the Sky City sits atop a 367-foot mesa where people have lived since before 1150 AD. What makes this so remarkable? The original cultural and spiritual connections remain intact, not preserved in museums, but lived daily by descendants of the original builders. Corn dances, feast days, and traditional ceremonies continue exactly as ancestors performed them centuries ago. While most of the world has seen indigenous cultures disrupted or destroyed, New Mexico's pueblos maintain living links to pre-Columbian America that stretch back further than most European nations have existed.